You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network. For more quality options programs, visit www.theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app, available in iTunes and on Google Play.
The options market can be a confusing place. Sorting through the daily avalanche of data, alerts, updates, articles, and analysis to find the most important information is an overwhelming prospect. But now you have help. Welcome to the Options News Rundown, the only program that breaks through the noise to bring you the most important news and information from the world of options. Every day we bring you the top 5 option stories curated by the options experts at theoptionsinsider.com, the premier source for free options information. The Options News Rundown is brought to you by Market Taker Mentoring, the leader in option trader education. Get trader education, daily trade ideas, and more with a free 1-week trial of Market Taker Mentoring's live Advantage group coaching class by visiting markettaker.com/insider. And now it's time to break through the noise. It's time for your Options News Rundown.
Good morning. Today is Wednesday, June 13th, 2018. This is your Options News Rundown. I'm Dan Passarelli. Our first story today is the top 5 things to know in the market on Wednesday. First thing to know is today's Fed Day. The Federal Reserve is almost certain to raise interest rates by a quarter point for the second time this year at the conclusion of its 2-day policy meeting at 2 p.m. Eastern this afternoon. That would put the Fed funds target range in a range between 1.75 and 2%, inching closer to a neutral policy stance. With the rate hike almost fully priced in, the markets are focused on whether the Fed will hint at the prospect of 4 rate hikes in 2018 when it releases new forecasts for economic growth and interest rates, known as the dot plot. The second thing to know today is U.S. stocks are set for a modest gain at the open. U.S. stock futures pointed to modest gains at the open as investors awaited further guidance from the Fed. Third thing to know, dollar climbs before Fed decision. The dollar reached a 3-week high against the yen and stood tall against the euro ahead of a Federal Reserve policy meeting that could give clues on how many more U.S. rate hikes there will be this year. The U.S. dollar index was up 0.1% at 93.92, the best level since June 5th. Meanwhile, the 10-year U.S. Treasury yield stood at 2.955%. Oil markets await fresh weekly U.S. inventory data. The U.S. Energy Information Administration will release its official weekly oil supplies report for the week ended June 8th at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time, amid forecasts for an oil stock drop of 1.4 million barrels. The data will also offer fresh indications on how fast domestic output levels continue to rise. U.S. crude production, driven by shale extraction, is currently at an all-time high of 10.8 million barrels per day. And the fifth thing to know is Bitcoin's collapse accelerates as sell-off continues. Bitcoin tumbled to its lowest level since February as the meltdown in the world's largest digital currency accelerated amid mounting regulatory and security concerns after the weekend hacking of a Seoul, Korean cryptocurrency exchange. Bitcoin was down at around 5%, or $350, at 6487.70 on the Bitfinex exchange, a level last seen on February 5th. Ethereum, the world's second largest crypto, was down almost 12% at 472.70, its worst level since April 11th. Our second story today is from CNBC.com. Weekly mortgage applications drop 1.5% as rates turn higher again. The mortgage market found some new energy for a few weeks when interest rates suddenly dropped, but it was remarkably short-lived. Rates are on the move higher again, and that caused mortgage application volume to drop 1.5% last week from the previous week, and 15.4% more than a year ago, according to the Mortgage Bankers Association seasonally adjusted report. Refinance volume, which saw a significant gain the previous week, turned back to bleeding, down 2% for the week and off nearly 34% from a year ago when interest rates were lower. Refinance demand is most sensitive to even the smallest moves in interest rates. Our third story today is from investing.com. Expensive gasoline pushes up U.S. producer prices in May. U.S. producer prices increased more than expected in May, leading to the biggest annual gain in nearly 6.5 years, but underlying producer inflation remained moderate. The Labor Department said on Wednesday its producer price index for final demand rose 0.5% last month, boosted by a surge in gasoline prices and continued gains in the cost of services. The PPI edged up 0.1% in April. In the 12 months through May, the PPI increased 3.1%, the largest advance since January 2012. Producer prices rose 2.6% year on year in April. Economists polled by Reuters had forecast the PPI gaining 0.3% from the prior month and rising 2.8% from a year ago. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is news you can use for today, June 13, 2018, your Options News Rundown. I'm Dan Passarelli, trade smart, and have a great day.
Thank you for listening to the Options News Rundown. To learn more about these stories or any other developments from the world of options, visit www.theoptionsinsider.com, the premier source for free options information. The Options News Rundown is brought to you by Market Taker Mentoring, the leader in option trader education. Get trader education, daily trade ideas, and more with a free 1-week trial of Market Taker Mentoring's live Advantage group coaching class by visiting markettaker.com/insider.
The preceding program was a production of the Options Insider Radio Network. For more quality options programs, visit www.theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app, available in iTunes and on Google Play. Don't forget to follow along with your favorite programs and submit your own questions for the hosts at twitter.com/options, facebook.com/theoptionsinsider, or via questions@theoptionsinsider.com.